Wow, wow, OMG, just wow, ha ha ha. Yes, you really see this is not a dream. This is the proof that if people try, everything is possible. I wish you all the best for your children and family, so I definitely request you to watch the video till the end. Of course, each of you will encourage her by writing a comment congratulating Tammy. You are doing great. Let's all encourage her by writing a congratulation in the comments. Tammy Slaton's journey has always been defined by extremes: extreme weight, extreme setbacks, and most recently, an extreme transformation that has stunned both medical professionals and fans alike. Her latest milestone, an 8-hour skin removal surgery that removed 15 pounds of excess skin from her chin, arms, and abdomen, marks not just a physical rebirth, but a turning point in her life story. It's a moment she's fought for through years of hardship, ridicule, and near-death experiences. For the 38-year-old 1,000-pound sister star, this is more than a surgical victory. It's a culmination of years spent battling addiction, trauma, and a body that once betrayed her every step. And yet, in the mirror's reflection, now absent of the skin that once reminded her daily of how far she had to go, Tammy finally sees the woman she's becoming. The procedure was performed by Dr. J. Peter Rubin, MD, chair of the Department of Plastic Surgery at UPMC, and director of the UPMC Life After Weight Loss program. In an exclusive interview with Tyla, Dr. Rubin provided an in-depth look at Tammy's surgical process and the significant hurdles she overcame. Preoperative evaluations were meticulous and demanding, as they had to be for a patient who had lost over 500 pounds. Tammy underwent a comprehensive pre-surgical evaluation, Dr. Rubin explained. It included a thorough medical history, physical exam, coordination with her healthcare providers, and an anesthesia assessment. We ordered additional tests to be sure she was safe enough for this operation. It's not something we take lightly. A particularly risky factor was Tammy's history with nicotine. Though she had moved mountains to reach this point, shedding more than 500 pounds and maintaining the discipline needed for bariatric surgery, her continued vaping habit threatened to derail it all. Nicotine, whether through smoking or vaping, significantly increases the likelihood of complications, Dr. Rubin said. It affects blood vessels, delays wound healing, and makes anesthesia more dangerous. We test our patients routinely for nicotine, and they must quit entirely before we consider moving forward. Tammy faced this head-on. It wasn't easy. Breaking a nicotine addiction is notoriously hard, especially when it becomes part of the coping mechanisms tied to food addiction and emotional trauma. But she did it. This victory over nicotine was as vital as the weight loss itself. It meant she was ready, physically and mentally, for the next step. The surgical procedure was tailored to Tammy's unique needs. Her anatomy had changed drastically due to the sheer volume of weight she had lost, creating a landscape of medical and logistical challenges. Dr. Rubin and his team customized modified techniques for abdominal panniculectomy, brachioplasty, arm lift, and a face and neck lift. At higher body weights, arteries and veins become enlarged to supply blood to the excess tissue, Dr. Rubin explained. After significant weight loss, these blood vessels don't shrink back. They remain large, and that increases bleeding risks during surgery. Operating on Tammy required a constant balancing act: careful incision planning, blood flow monitoring, and managing tissue integrity to ensure a safe and effective result. Post-operative complications are common in surgeries involving major skin removal, but Tammy defied expectations yet again. She healed swiftly, leaving the hospital 4 days earlier than projected. Her smooth recovery, Dr. Rubin noted, was a result of her preparation. She had increased her protein intake in the weeks leading up to surgery and followed all pre-op instructions diligently. Her commitment to optimizing her health made a significant difference. He said, "You can't overstate how important preparation is. It's not just about the procedure. It's about everything you do to support healing once the surgery is over." Tammy's resilience throughout this process has impressed not just Dr. Rubin, but viewers across the globe who have followed her story from the very beginning. When 1,000 Lounge Sisters first aired, Tammy was on oxygen, confined mostly to a chair, and weighed over 700 pounds. Her chances of survival were dwindling, and every attempt at weight loss seemed met with failure or relapse. But underneath the frustration and the emotional meltdowns was a fighter, someone who, even when she didn't believe in herself, still managed to find enough strength to keep trying. The season finale of 1,000 Lounge Sisters captured a moment fans had long hoped to see. Tammy, post-surgery, stood in front of a mirror, still bandaged and swollen, and smiled. "It's going to take a while for me to get used to seeing myself like this," she said, blinking back tears. "I'm shocked. I feel so weird." There was awe in her voice, but also something deeper. Relief, maybe even peace. She added, "My bat wings are gone. And I look down, and there's nothing there but my lap now." Simple words, yet they carried the weight of everything she had endured. The years of being immobilized, shamed, even by herself. Now, the body she saw was one she had earned through grit and perseverance. But not everyone around Tammy seemed equally enthusiastic. Her sister, Tammy Slaton, whose own weight loss journey has been front and center in previous seasons, displayed reactions that fans interpreted as muted or even resentful. While Amy congratulated Tammy on her surgery approval and results, her demeanor often appeared disengaged. During scenes where Tammy's achievements were celebrated, Amy would sometimes shift the topic to her own life challenges, her engagement, her divorce, her new relationship. Many fans saw this as a deflection, a subtle inability or unwillingness to allow Tammy her full moment of triumph. This isn't to say Amy lacks love for her sister. Their bond is undeniable, forged in childhood trauma and years of shared struggle. But it's complicated. Amy's own transformation has followed a very different arc. She began the series as the younger, more mobile sister who acted as Tammy's caretaker and emotional support. She underwent bariatric surgery first, lost weight, married her high school sweetheart, and fulfilled her dream of becoming a mother. At the time, she was the symbol of hope. Tammy was still in and out of the hospital, struggling to meet her goals. But roles have shifted. Amy's marriage to Michael Halterman ultimately collapsed under the weight of postpartum depression, stress, and unmet emotional needs. She often felt alone in her motherhood journey, even while raising two beautiful sons, Gage and Glenn. In contrast, Tammy, once seen as the hopeless case, has risen. She conquered her food addiction, endured rehab, lost over 500 pounds, and achieved what many thought impossible. The spotlight, for once, has shifted, and that shift, though inevitable, has introduced tension between the sisters that viewers have increasingly picked up on. One moment particularly struck fans during season 7. Tammy had just shared the news that she was approved for surgery after years of grueling effort. Amy offered a half-hearted congrats, then quickly changed the subject to her rocky relationship with her then-boyfriend Brian Lovewarn. It felt abrupt, even dismissive. Throughout the season, similar moments played out, Amy making brief acknowledgments of Tammy's milestones before pivoting to her own issues. Fans described her tone as flat, her body language as guarded. In confessionals, she often reframed Tammy's success through her own lens, reflecting less on her sister's progress and more on what it meant for herself. Amy's relationship with Brian added another layer to the unfolding story. After her divorce from Michael, Amy's connection with Brian brought her a sense of joy and freedom that she hadn't felt in years. Their romance developed quickly and was marked by Amy's trademark quirkiness. She introduced him to fans with humor and warmth, joking that their new baby was a pet snake and that she had no plans for more children. Their engagement was anything but traditional. Brian proposed with a ring pop in a haunted house, followed by the real ring. But it suited Amy perfectly. The moment was chaotic, weird, and deeply personal. And yet, it happened amid Tammy's most profound achievement, almost as if it were an attempt to match or redirect the attention. Despite these emotional complexities, Amy's growth is just as important as Tammy's. She may not have undergone a second major surgery, but she's reclaiming her identity in quieter ways. Her journey as a mother has been filled with painful truths, overwhelm, exhaustion, and feeling unseen. She's been honest about the challenges of single parenting, especially as someone still navigating her own health and emotional stability. And in recent months, she's rediscovered a passion for art, selling her first painting and sharing her creations online with pride. It's a reminder that healing doesn't always come in the form of surgery. Sometimes it's about finding beauty in the everyday. Tammy and Amy are walking different paths. Together, their stories make 1,000-Pound Sisters more than just a weight loss show. It's a study in resilience, sibling dynamics, and the deeply human desire for transformation. The show resonates because it doesn't shy away from the ugly moments, the jealous glances, the passive-aggressive comments, the tears, the anger. But it also highlights moments of raw connection, growth, and triumph. Fans have watched these women fall apart and piece themselves back together, often in front of millions. Tammy's journey, particularly her surgery, is a testament to what can be achieved with discipline, support, and an unrelenting will to survive. She's no longer the woman gasping for air in a hospital bed. She's standing tall, chin lifted, with the skin of her past quite literally cut away. And Amy, though navigating her own emotional terrain, is still evolving, still healing. She may not always know how to celebrate her sister, but her love is evident, even in silence. As the show continues, fans remain invested not just in the numbers on the scale, but in the emotional weights each woman carries. Tammy's transformation is inspiring. Amy's vulnerability is relatable. And together, they remind us that healing isn't linear, that support can be imperfect, and that survival takes many forms. The mirror has changed for both sisters, but so has their reflection in the hearts of viewers who continue to root for them, flaws and all. Amy Slaton's life has always unfolded in full view of the cameras. Since the 2020 debut of TLC's 1,000-Pound Sisters, her unfiltered honesty, emotional vulnerability, and sharp sense of humor have endeared her to fans across the globe. As one half of the central duo that propelled the series to reality TV fame, Amy's evolution from a woman burdened by extreme obesity into a mother, a survivor of heartbreak, and now a woman in the midst of a new love story is a saga of resilience, reinvention, and struggle under the weight of fame and personal trauma. Through it all, she has stood beside, and sometimes at odds with, her sister, Tammy Slaton, whose own health battles and incredible transformation have shifted the show's narrative and complicated their dynamic. When audiences first met Amy, she weighed over 400 pounds and was desperate for change. Motivated by the desire to live a longer, fuller life and become a mother, Amy made the bold decision to pursue bariatric surgery in 2019. The decision marked a major turning point for her, and it was the emotional core of the show's first season. Viewers watched as Amy underwent surgery and gradually lost significant weight, achieving a milestone that would redefine her future. With her husband, Michael Halterman, by her side, Amy appeared to be on the path toward health and stability. Their journey into parenthood followed quickly, with the birth of their first son, Gage, in November 2020. The moment was deeply emotional, the culmination of years of physical suffering, personal doubt, and relentless hope. But reality was much more complicated behind the scenes. Amy's relationship with Michael, once painted as steady and supportive, began to fracture under the pressures of parenting, health management, and the strain of being public figures. Michael, a quiet man often seen in the background of episodes, grew increasingly disengaged, according to Amy. She would later describe their marriage